Hello everyone and welcome to History of the Ancient World. Today we're journeying to ancient India, a land of incredible diversity and profound spiritual depth. The religious landscape of this region is one of the most fascinating in human history, giving birth to beliefs that continue to shape the lives of billions today. So get ready as we explore the evolution of faith, from ancient rituals to world-changing philosophies. Our story begins around 1500 BCE with the arrival of the Indo-Aryans. These semi-nomadic peoples brought with them a collection of sacred hymns and rituals that would form the basis of what we call the Vedic religion, or early Brahmanism. Their most sacred texts are the Vedas, with the Rig Veda being the oldest. At the heart of this religion was the yajna, or sacrifice. These were elaborate fire rituals performed by Brahmin priests to appease a pantheon of gods representing natural forces. Who were these gods? There was Indra, the powerful king of the gods and the god of thunder and war. Agni was the god of fire, acting as a divine messenger carrying offerings from humans to the heavens. Surya was the sun god, and Varuna upheld cosmic order. Life revolved around pleasing these deities to ensure prosperity, good harvests, and victory in battle. The role of the Brahmin priest was paramount. They were the sole keepers of the sacred knowledge and the only ones who could perform the complex rituals correctly. This system placed them at the very top of the social hierarchy, a structure that would later evolve into the caste system. As centuries passed, the simple sacrificial religion of the early Vedas began to change. Around 800 to 500 BCE, a new set of texts emerged, known as the Upanishads. This period marked a major philosophical shift. Thinkers began to look inward, questioning the nature of reality, the self, and the universe. The focus moved from external rituals to internal meditation and self-realization. The Upanishads introduced some of the most fundamental concepts in Indian thought. First, there's Brahman, the ultimate unchanging reality that underlies the entire universe. It's the cosmic soul, the source of everything. Then there's Atman, which is the individual soul, the self within each living being. The revolutionary idea of the Upanishads was that Atman is Brahman. Your individual soul is part of the universal soul. The goal of life, therefore, became moksha, or liberation. Moksha is the release from the cycle of rebirth, known as samsara. This brings us to another key concept, karma. Karma is the law of cause and effect, where every action, good or bad, has consequences that determine your future existence. If you live a good life, you accumulate good karma and might be reborn into a better situation. If you live a bad life, the opposite is true. You are trapped in this cycle of samsara until you can achieve moksha by realizing the true nature of your Atman and its unity with Brahman. This profound philosophical turn set the stage for new religious movements to arise. The 6th century BCE was a time of great social and religious upheaval across India. The authority of the Brahmins and the exclusivity of their rituals were being challenged. Many people, especially those outside the Brahmin caste, felt disconnected from this highly ritualistic and expensive religion. They sought new paths to spiritual fulfillment that were more accessible and personal. This fertile ground gave rise to two major new religions, Buddhism and Jainism. Let's start with Buddhism. It was founded by Siddhartha Gautama, a prince from a small kingdom in what is now Nepal. Troubled by the suffering he saw in the world, old age, sickness, and death, he renounced his luxurious life to seek enlightenment. After years of searching and meditation, he finally achieved enlightenment while sitting under a Bodhi tree. From then on, he was known as the Buddha, meaning the enlightened one. The Buddha's teachings were a radical departure from Brahmanism. He rejected the authority of the Vedas and the caste system. He taught that anyone, regardless of their social standing, could achieve enlightenment. His core teachings are summarized in the Four Noble Truths. First, life is suffering. Second, the cause of suffering is craving and attachment. Third, suffering can be ended. And fourth, the way to end suffering is by following the Noble Eightfold Path. This Eightfold Path is a practical guide to ethical conduct, mental discipline, and wisdom. It includes things like right understanding, right intention, right speech, and right mindfulness. Instead of complex rituals, the Buddha emphasized personal effort, meditation, and compassion. The ultimate goal in Buddhism is nirvana, which is the extinguishing of the self and the release from the cycle of samsara. It's a state of perfect peace and liberation from all suffering. The Buddha's message of universal compassion and its focus on a practical middle way between extreme asceticism and worldly indulgence resonated with many. His teachings were spread by a community of monks and nuns known as the Sangha, and Buddhism quickly grew into a major world religion. At around the same time, another great teacher emerged, Mahavira. He is considered the 24th and last Tirthankara, or Ford Maker, of Jainism. Like the Buddha, Mahavira was also a prince who renounced his wealth to seek spiritual liberation. Jainism shares some concepts with Buddhism and the Upanishadic tradition, like karma and samsara. However, it takes the concept of non-violence to an extreme. The central tenet of Jainism is ahimsa, or non-harm to all living beings. Jains believe that everything, from humans and animals to plants, rocks, and water, has a soul, or jiva. Therefore, causing harm to any living thing, intentionally or unintentionally, creates negative karma. This principle guides every aspect of a devout Jain's life. Strict Jains might wear masks over their mouths to avoid inhaling insects and sweep the path before them to avoid stepping on any creatures. The path to liberation in Jainism involves purifying the soul of all karmic particles. This is achieved through the three jewels: right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct, which includes vows of non-violence, truthfulness, not stealing, celibacy, and non-possession. It's a path of extreme asceticism and self-control. So, by the end of the ancient period, the religious landscape of India was incredibly rich. We have the evolution of Brahmanism, with its ritualistic roots and later philosophical depth. And we have the rise of two major reform movements, Buddhism and Jainism, which challenged the old order and offered new paths to salvation that were open to all. These three traditions, Brahmanism, which would continue to evolve into what we now know as Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, interacted, influenced each other, and competed for followers for centuries. They formed the spiritual bedrock of ancient Indian civilization, and their ideas on karma, rebirth, non-violence, and the quest for liberation have left an indelible mark not just on India, but on the entire world. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the religions of ancient India. It's a vast and complex subject, and we've only just scratched the surface. If you found this interesting, please like, share, and subscribe to History of the Ancient World for more explorations into our shared past. See you next time.